Hi, this is Mike and Lori with Hamburg Honey. It's June 5th and we are doing our beginning of summer alcohol washes. Generally at the beginning of every month, the first week, we try to do alcohol wash. Now we have a special guest with us today. This is Harrison. This is my nephew. He helps out quite a bit with bees. He likes doing them, so he's learning how to do alcohol washes today too. So we'll get started here. Take off the cover. Set it right here between the two and give them a little bit of smoke. Don't need a whole lot. And there's a couple of things that you want to look for when you're doing your alcohol washes. First things first, always check the lid when you take it off. There's been quite a few times that I've taken the lid off and the queen is walking around here, so you definitely don't want to set it on the ground or anything like that before you start working. So I'll give this a little hit, get them all back down in there. Now when you do your alcohol washes, you want to take the bees off certain frames. You don't want to take them off honey frames. You don't want to take them off pollen frames. You want to test the bees that are on open brood frames. The reason for that being is the mites, they want to hang around on the bees on the brood that is about to be capped. So the mites will actually seek out nurse bees in order to be able to get into that cell right as it's being capped. So those are the frames that you want to test. You want to test your open brood frames. So as always on your inspections, you start from the outside frame. You don't want to pull up inside frames. You might accidentally roll your queen. So the majority of the time, this outside frame is just going to be honey stores and pollen. So that's generally what we expect to see here. So, yep, we've got a bunch of nectar stored. We have a nectar flow going on right now of black locust and blackberries. So they're bringing quite a bit of nectar right now. Now I'm also going to scrape this burr comb off the inside edge of the hive so I don't roll bees when I'm putting it back together. Alright. Now I don't recommend setting your frames on the ground. Some people do. I don't like to do it just because I'm always very paranoid about losing my queens. So I bought this nifty little hive frame holder. So I have a feeling this one's going to be all capped honey as well.
There's some brood on this side.
Oh, and here's our queen right here. She's got a nice yellow dot. That means she's from our VHS line. So it's really good that we find her right away. This would be a great frame to test off of because there's open brood. But we definitely don't want to test the frame that has our queen on it. So we'll put her right here out of the way. Take this next frame off and we'll probably be able to use this frame. Most likely has a bunch of open brood on it. Yeah, there's quite a bit of open brood. There's a lot of cap brood though as well, so I might skip this one. Alright, yeah, there's a lot of open brood all in this area here, all along the edges. So this is what we'll use. Here's a little queen cup. We'll just check it just to make sure there's nothing in it. Alright. So this is the frame that we're going to shake into our bag here to do our mite test. So we have a... Harrison, could you grab the blue bag? So in order to do the mite test, you need half a cup of bees, which is 300 bees. So we have this nice cloth bag. It makes it easier to scoop the bees up from the corner. So all we need to do is just shake that right down in there. Put this back in the hive. Now all the forager bees that can fly, you can see will fly up from the bag. That's fine. We don't want to test those anyway. We want to test nurse bees. So you just shake the bag so they're all down in the corner. Get your half cup and get yourself a full half cup of bees. Drop it in there. You need a couple more. Okay, put the cap on, Harrison. All right.
Turn it tight. Nope. turn it tight.
So, the rest of these bees will just shake back into here. And then I always like to know where the queen is when I put my frames back together so I don't accidentally squish her.
Not over the hive though.
So, just double check where she is. See, she moved off of this frame and she's most likely on the sidewall right now. So yeah, I see her. She's right on the inside sidewall. So I'll have to be extremely careful when I put all these frames back in here. You always want to make sure you put the frames back in the same order, because the bees have the brood in a certain order on purpose so they can keep it warm. This frame is full of brood. If I would put it on the outside frame, it might actually kill that brood because it might get too cold. So, like I said, I know the queen is on the wall right here, so I'll be extremely careful when I put this frame back down in there. Keep it away from the wall as much as I can to make sure I don't roll her. So, that's all the longer you have to have the hive open for. It doesn't, once you get used to it and do it quite a bit, it doesn't actually take long to do some alcohol washes. So we'll get them closed back up, and once they're closed up, then we'll shake that around a bit more and see what we can see for mites. So you're supposed to shake it for about a minute. This is the general mite check container you can get from just about any of the large manufacturers. And we'll see what we have going on here. All right, I see 1, 2, 3. All right, we will make it a little easier for everybody. I'll take the dead bees out.
I'm gonna pour that in here.
Dump them out. And then I'm gonna remove some of this liquid so it's easier for us to see. The mites are generally gonna sink, so you can pour off most of it. So if we set it on a white thing, you can actually see right here. I'll try to use this pen here to point them out. So there is one mite right there, and one right there, and one there. So it looks like we have 3 mites in this alcohol wash. That means we have a 1% infestation of mites. In general, we don't treat until we have 3%, and most of our hives go for most of the summer without getting a treatment, and we generally only treat if we have to. So right now there's no treatment scheduled on this hive. So if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below, and please remember to subscribe. And this has been Mike and Lori with Hamburg Honey with our special guest Harrison. So get out there and enjoy your bees. Thanks everybody.